Hi, Derek Evans here, your author at hopeithelps.org. Time for step 4 of the 10 steps to bliss. Now that we've explored the present moment and we've encountered what that can accomplish for us, and we've discovered the power of gratitude and really how much we can accomplish with just understanding gratitude, and also time. Now we have all the time in the world after step 3. That changes things. Step 4 is about finding consciousness. Consciousness is everything. Think about it. Without consciousness, what do you have? You have nothing. Does anything exist if there is not consciousness to observe it? A lot of people believe that it doesn't. The age-old question of, does a tree that falls in the forest make any sound? Well, a lot of people believe that it doesn't really matter. It's kind of an unapplicable question because perception and consciousness is the only way to observe and take in anything, whether it's seeing something, hearing something, touching something, tasting something. And without that, then of course there would not be the experience. So a lot of people believe that. The way that I look at consciousness and the way that I think it's important to understand it has to do with awareness of your own actions. You can be conscious about a lot of different things. You can be conscious of other people's actions. You can be conscious of the environment that you're in. But for me, consciousness and the way that I measure it for myself is based around my own actions. When I stop myself from doing something, and consciousness happens, you've heard of football's a game of inches. Consciousness is a game of milliseconds. Because it's in that millisecond that you can either be perturbed by something or you can be the solution for something. It's in that millisecond that you can either hit the send button to a nasty email that you just wrote to someone who you're upset with, or not do that and save it as a draft and come back to it later. That's a conscious decision. When you recognize that you are out of line, that's a conscious decision. You can only do this through a heightened sense of awareness in which you are really alive. Most of us live our lives in a very conditioned way, and we won't notice these things because we're not really aware. We're just acting. And if you think about it, 60,000 thoughts a day, how many of those can truly be conscious? All we can do is try to make as many of them conscious as possible, especially with our actions. Because remember, not every thought turns into an action, but every thought does affect your physiology, your mind, body. So the way that we find consciousness is by slowing things down, giving ourselves a chance to make a decision, even if it just takes a split second, for everything that we do. Before we do something, take a second and think about it. That's really what it is. That's awareness. When you are engaged in a conversation, turn around and look at yourself. What am I doing right now? Am I paying attention to this person? Am I giving them my full attention? Or am I thinking about something else while they're talking and I'm looking at them? That's a conscious thought. When you realize that maybe I am wrong about this, or maybe I'm on the wrong side, or maybe that person was right. Pay attention to what people say. Don't react. There's no reason to react and want to fight and resist. Just take it all in. This is finding consciousness. Ask yourselves a question. Constantly look yourself in the mirror, so to speak. Be the witness and look at yourself and say, what am I doing right now? What am I doing? And if it happens while you're walking down the beach, then you would say, walking is happening right now. That's what's happening. But you're conscious of it. Instead of just walking down the beach, you're conscious, I'm walking down the beach. It sounds silly. That one little split second where you recognize that creates awareness. It heightens your awareness. And consciousness ultimately is all about awareness. So finding consciousness for me has happened through meditation. Simple meditation practice, a couple times a day, and that's all it takes to start becoming more aware of what you're doing, what is really happening, and how to essentially uncondition yourself from all those reflexes that we have built in. What you can accomplish with meditation, it goes beyond just consciousness. But when you can be aware and you can see things that are happening, instead of just reacting to them and going through the day and getting to the end of the day and going, what happened today? You You can start to live every moment, similar to when we explored the present moment. When you're in the present moment, you're totally conscious. You're totally conscious when you are in the present moment. We just aren't in the present moment very often. Now that we have some ideas on how to accomplish that, now that we have some ideas on how to get back to a conscious level through gratitude, through the understanding of time. I mean, how many of us are rushing around in a hurry all day long? You're never allowing yourself to be conscious. Now we can start exploring consciousness. When you notice your actions, when you start having these realizations, you are finding consciousness. All I can tell you to do is keep trying to find more. 60,000 thoughts a day. It's very unlikely that they can all be conscious, but we can work hard to get as many of them to be conscious thoughts as possible. This will allow us to not only make conscious choices, of course, but they will be more nourishing choices, thoughts, and of course, deeds. I hope it helps. Happy meditating, and namaste.